Buddhism, one of the oldest spiritual traditions in the world, offers profound wisdom that remains relevant in today's fast-paced, often chaotic world. It provides guidance on how to achieve peace, inner serenity, and mindfulness, irrespective of the challenges we may face in our daily lives. The teachings of Buddha offer a roadmap to living a more fulfilled life, one that transcends the ordinary struggles and helps individuals find deeper meaning, clarity, and peace. In this video, we explore a lesson that Buddha imparted, focusing on how we can act as if nothing bothers us. At first glance, this may seem like a form of denial or avoidance, but upon closer examination, it reveals a powerful and transformative approach to life. The principles of Buddhism that we will delve into provide timeless wisdom for achieving inner tranquility, and they can guide us in cultivating peace even amid chaos. We will take a closer look at several core principles of Buddhist philosophy and how they can be applied to everyday life. These principles not only provide a deeper understanding of life's impermanence and suffering, but also teach us how to navigate these challenges with wisdom, resilience, and compassion. Understanding the power of listening. The Buddhist teachings emphasize the importance of listening, truly listening, not just hearing words, but understanding the deeper essence behind them. Listening is often seen as a passive activity, but in Buddhism, it's considered an active, mindful practice that promotes empathy, connection, and understanding. In many cultures, we are encouraged to speak up, express our opinions, and make our voices heard. However, Buddha's advice to listen twice as much as you speak calls for a shift in perspective. Listening isn't just about remaining quiet while the other person talks. It's about being fully present, allowing ourselves to absorb not only the words, but also the emotions, thoughts, and intentions behind them. It's about understanding the other person from their point of view, walking in their shoes, and connecting with them on a deeper level. I remember a situation in my life where I found myself in a heated discussion with a close friend. I was so eager to share my thoughts and defend my position that I failed to truly listen to what my friend was saying. As the conversation progressed, I could sense tension building up between us. When I finally took a step back and allowed my friend to express herself fully, I realized that I had misunderstood her intentions earlier. By giving her the space to speak and listening carefully, I was able to see her perspective, and our relationship strengthened as a result. Empathy and compassion through active listening. Listening more than we speak opens us up to deeper empathy. When we listen intently, we become attuned to the emotional states and underlying needs of others. It encourages us to step outside of ourselves and view the world through the eyes of another. In doing so, we also develop greater compassion, a key component of Buddhist practice. Listening creates a bridge of understanding, not just between people, but within ourselves. As we practice mindfulness and listening, we allow ourselves to hear not just the spoken words, but the silent expressions of pain, joy, fear, or hope. These unspoken messages often reveal more about a person than what is verbally shared. For example, in a work environment, we might be quick to offer advice or solutions, but by listening more attentively to our colleagues, we can gain deeper insight into their challenges and needs. In many cases, simply being heard is more powerful than any advice we could offer. Listening fosters a sense of connection and builds trust, two essential elements for meaningful relationships. Listening to the world around us. Listening extends beyond human interaction. In Buddhism, listening is also about paying attention to the world around us, to nature, to the silence, to the rhythms of life. It's about tuning into the subtle cues of the universe, understanding the interconnectedness of all things. When we cultivate this awareness, we begin to see the beauty and wisdom in the small, often overlooked details of life. A quiet walk in nature, listening to the rustling of leaves or the sound of birds, can provide us with a sense of peace and groundedness. As we listen to the world, we learn to understand life's flow, its cycles, and its impermanence. This, in turn, helps us to cultivate inner peace. As we become more in tune with the ever-changing rhythms of existence, listening deeply to the world allows us to let go of attachments and embrace the present moment. Staying true to your path. One of the most challenging aspects of life is navigating the constant input of others' opinions and judgments. Society, family, friends, and even strangers offer their perspectives on how we should live, what we should do, and who we should be. While it's important to be open to constructive feedback, the Buddhist teachings remind us that our path is uniquely ours to walk. This principle encourages us to focus on the present moment and avoid getting lost in the judgments and expectations of others. As Buddha said, do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. In the same way that a hiker must stay focused on the trail ahead and not be distracted by the opinions of those around them, we too must navigate our journey with clarity and confidence. I remember a time in my life when I was at a crossroads, trying to decide between pursuing a stable career path or following my passion for creativity. The advice from others was conflicting. Some told me to play it safe, while others encouraged me to follow my dreams. It wasn't until I quieted the noise and listened to my own heart that I realized what I truly wanted. By staying true to my inner compass, I was able to make a decision that brought me peace and fulfillment, creating boundaries and finding inner strength. Buddhist teachings remind us that the opinions of others should not define who we are or dictate our actions. When we allow external judgments to control us, we lose our sense of self. Instead, we must cultivate the strength to trust our own instincts and follow our own path, regardless of what others may think. This doesn't mean disregarding all advice or becoming overly self-reliant. Rather, it's about knowing when to listen and when to trust your own judgment. Life is not about pleasing others or conforming to societal expectations. It's about aligning your actions with your deepest values and desires. An example from my own life. There was a period in my life when I was caught between two choices: pursuing a traditional career or starting my own business. Family and friends had varying opinions, and I was torn between the comfort of the familiar and the excitement of the unknown. At one point, I realized that I had been allowing their fears and judgments to cloud my own judgment. It wasn't until I silenced the external noise and reflected on my own desires that I realized the right path for me. It wasn't easy, but staying true to my own values led me to a sense of fulfillment and purpose that I would not have found had I followed others' expectations. Living authentically. Living authentically means that we make choices based on our own beliefs and desires, not out of fear of judgment or the need for approval. When we follow our own path with confidence, we naturally attract people who resonate with our authenticity, and we cultivate relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. Embracing life's challenges. Buddhist teachings on acceptance are powerful and transformative. Pain is certain. Suffering is optional is one of Buddha's most profound statements. This principle teaches us that while pain and suffering are inevitable aspects of life, our response to them is within our control. Life is full of ups and downs. At times, we may feel overwhelmed by the challenges that come our way. Whether it's a personal loss, a career setback, or a health issue, pain is a part of the human experience. However, Buddha reminds us that while pain is unavoidable, suffering is not. Suffering arises when we resist or deny the reality of our circumstances. Preparation, not fear. Being ready to accept the worst doesn't mean expecting the worst or living in constant fear of failure. It means cultivating the mental resilience to face challenges with grace and calmness. Imagine life as a river, with moments of calm and moments of turbulence. When we are mentally prepared to face the worst, we are like a boat that remains steady even in rough waters. For example, when faced with a difficult situation, whether personal or professional, I remind myself that I can choose how to respond. Accepting the worst means recognizing that challenges will come, but we don't have to let them control us. Instead, we can meet them with a calm and resilient mindset, knowing that setbacks are a part of life and can lead to personal growth. A life lesson. I once faced a significant career setback that left me feeling lost and uncertain about my future. Initially, I resisted the reality of the situation, which only made the pain worse. However, as I reflected on the Buddhist teachings of acceptance, I shifted my mindset. I stopped fighting the situation and accepted it as it was. This acceptance didn't mean giving up. It meant acknowledging the challenge and preparing myself to face it with courage and clarity. By doing so, I was able to navigate the difficulty more effectively and emerge stronger from the experience. Embracing failure as a stepping stone. Buddha's teachings remind us that failure is an essential part of the journey toward enlightenment and self-improvement. One of the core Buddhist ideas is that suffering is an inherent part of life, but how we approach it determines whether it will lead to growth or despair. Failure is not something to be avoided, but something to be embraced, understood, and learned from. Imagine life as a path where each obstacle or failure is like a stone in the road. You could see the stone as an impediment, something that stops you from progressing, or you could see it as an opportunity to learn. Every time you stumble, you become more adept at walking and navigating the path ahead. The idea that failure is inevitable, but suffering is optional, is essential in developing resilience and mental fortitude. In my own life, I've encountered countless failures, whether it was a business idea that didn't take off, a project that didn't meet expectations, or even personal mistakes. Initially, these moments of failure were disheartening, but as I reflected on the Buddhist teachings, I realized that each failure brought me closer to understanding myself better, becoming wiser, and refining my approach to future challenges. Failure as a teacher. The Buddha's wisdom teaches that failure is not a reason to despair, but a teacher that shows us what we need to learn. Each failure reveals areas where we can improve and grow, just as a sculptor chips away at a block of marble to create a beautiful statue. Our failures help us refine our character and skills. Without these mistakes, we would never fully understand the depths of our potential. For instance, when learning a new skill or starting a new endeavor, we are likely to make mistakes. These are not signs of weakness, but signs of courage and progress. Whether it's in business, relationships, or personal development, we all encounter setbacks. The key is to maintain the perspective that each failure brings valuable lessons that contribute to our growth. An example, learning to walk. Consider the analogy of a child learning to walk. They don't give up after falling down once or twice. Instead, they get back up, determined to try again. This same resilience applies to our lives. When we face difficulties or make mistakes, we need to adopt a childlike mindset, one of perseverance, curiosity, and hope. Instead of seeing failure as an obstacle, we should see it as a necessary part of the learning process. I recall a time when I was starting my business and failed to meet sales goals in the first few months. I felt disheartened and questioned my abilities. But instead of allowing that failure to define me, I reflected on the lessons I could learn. What strategies worked? What didn't? How could I refine my approach moving forward? Through this process, I was able to regroup, adjust my strategies, and eventually succeed. It was the failures, not the successes, that gave me the most profound insights. The Buddhist perspective on non-attachment. Buddhism teaches us about the importance of non-attachment. This doesn't mean detaching from our goals or ambitions, but rather, not becoming overly attached to the outcome. When we are too focused on achieving success or avoiding failure, we become enslaved to our expectations. And when things don't go as planned, we experience frustration and disappointment. Non-attachment allows us to act with clear intentions and remain at peace, regardless of the result. For example, when we focus on the process and growth rather than solely on the result, we free ourselves from the pressure of success or failure. This shift in perspective can significantly reduce stress and allow us to enjoy the journey, no matter where it leads. The power of simplicity in a complex world. In today's fast-paced world, we are often surrounded by distractions, excessive choices, and the constant pull of consumerism. Buddha's wisdom about simplicity is a powerful antidote to this complexity. He teaches that clarity and peace often arise from simplifying our lives and focusing on what truly matters. Buddhism emphasizes the importance of stripping away unnecessary distractions, both externally and internally. The mind can become cluttered with worries, desires, and expectations, but when we simplify our thoughts and actions, we can achieve greater peace and understanding. This is not to say that we should abandon our ambitions or desires, but rather that we should prioritize the things that bring us true joy, fulfillment, and contentment, living a simple life. When we talk about simplicity, it's about cultivating a life that reflects our true values. Instead of accumulating material possessions or striving to keep up with societal trends, we focus on what brings us genuine happiness. Buddha's teaching that the way is not in the sky, the way is in the heart, invites us to look inward and find clarity in the simple things. Life becomes simpler when we let go of our attachment to external validation and focus on cultivating peace and wisdom within ourselves. An example of living simply can be found in nature. When we spend time outdoors, we are reminded of the beauty of simplicity. A quiet walk through the forest or a serene day at the beach offers a clarity and peace that cannot be found in the hustle and bustle of daily life. These simple moments help us reconnect with what is truly important. The joy of minimalism. Minimalism has gained popularity in recent years as a lifestyle choice. It involves decluttering both physically and mentally, focusing on quality over quantity, and letting go of material possessions that no longer serve us. In many ways, minimalism aligns with Buddhist principles of simplicity, as it encourages us to focus on what truly nourishes our lives and to let go of distractions that detract from our peace. I've personally found that when I simplify my environment, whether by reducing clutter, limiting distractions, or focusing on fewer but more meaningful tasks, I experience a sense of calm and clarity that is often hard to find in a more complicated life. The act of simplifying can free up mental and emotional space, allowing us to focus on what truly matters. Simplifying relationships. Simplicity also extends to our relationships. In a world that often values quantity over quality, it's easy to spread ourselves thin by trying to maintain too many relationships. Buddha's teachings invite us to focus on the depth of our connections, rather than the number of people we know. Cultivating deep, meaningful relationships requires less effort than maintaining superficial ones. In my life, I've found that focusing on a few close, authentic relationships has brought me much more joy and fulfillment than trying to keep up with a wide circle of acquaintances. True connections are built on trust, understanding, and mutual respect, not on the number of interactions we have. The essence of humility. Humility is a virtue that is often misunderstood. It's not about thinking less of oneself, but about thinking of oneself less. In the Buddhist tradition, true wisdom is not measured by how much we know or how eloquently we speak, but by the depth of our compassion, our peacefulness, and our fearlessness. Buddha's teachings on humility remind us to let go of our ego and embrace a mindset of openness and learning. The wise person is humble, not because they are unaware of their abilities, but because they recognize that wisdom is not about boasting or gaining recognition. True wisdom is embodied in our actions, not our words. Humility in action. Humility in action involves treating others with kindness, empathy, and respect. It means acknowledging that we don't have all the answers, and that we are constantly learning and growing. It's about recognizing that everyone has their own wisdom and experiences to offer, and being open to learning from them. An example of humility can be seen in the way we interact with others. When we approach others with humility, we create an environment of trust and openness. We don't judge or try to dominate conversations, but instead, we listen and learn. This attitude fosters deeper, more meaningful relationships and allows us to grow as individuals. The benefits of humility. Humility brings many benefits. It allows us to remain grounded, even in the face of success or recognition. It helps us navigate challenges with grace and resilience, knowing that we are always learning and evolving. When we practice humility, we let go of the need to prove ourselves and instead focus on serving others and contributing to the greater good. In my own life, I've found that humility has been one of the most powerful tools for personal growth. It has helped me remain open to feedback, learn from my mistakes, and build stronger relationships. Humility allows us to connect with others on a deeper level and brings a sense of peace and balance to our lives. The illusion of material wealth. In a world that often equates success with material wealth, Buddha's teachings remind us that true wealth lies in our inner contentment, health, and relationships, not in material possessions. Buddha's insight into the impermanence of fortune offers a powerful reminder that our possessions and achievements are fleeting, and that happiness is not found in the accumulation of wealth. Living in the present moment. Buddha teaches us to focus on the present moment and find joy in the simple pleasures of life. Whether it's a smile from a loved one, the beauty of nature, or a peaceful moment of reflection, when we live in the present, we free ourselves